Welcome to my how to make a business strategy video. In this video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step guide for how you can create and refine your strategy using my personal experimental hypothesis-driven approach to business strategy creation. Unlike traditional static strategies, this system ensures adaptability, high ROI, decision-making, and constant continuous improvement and evolution of your business for better business market fit. So anyway, let me crack on instead of just rabbiting on, because that is something I do a lot of. So let's get straight into step one, and that is diagnosis, understanding where you are. I would say the most important thing when it comes to strategy isn't even the deciding what you want to achieve and the high level things that how you're going to achieve them. The most important thing is figuring out where you currently are, because your strategy will be completely different depending on where you currently are. Let me give you an example of how important this is. You've got two people, Bill and Ben. They both want to get to London in the United Kingdom. Now, a strategy might be to use a car or a bus or a train, and that's great. But the thing is, without knowing where Bill and Ben currently are, where they are as in relation to where they want to go, you cannot create a strategy. So many businesses miss this part out, and it is so vital. I find it crazy that people just skip this part over, because Bill, for example, is an astronaut and he's currently on the International Space Station. So if you thought to yourself, oh, I have a strategy, we can use a car or we can use a train, suddenly with this new information that, oh, he's on a space station, nothing really will get him there easily. So you'd have to get him on a rocket or a Soyuz capsule or whatever it is they use these days with NASA and SpaceX, and bring him back down to Earth first. Whereas Ben is in Oxford and can drive there in his Tesla Model 3. So the strategy is completely dependent on your current operating environment. Sorry, I'm getting so animated, I'm moving on my chair. So this is vitally important. Before you do anything for your strategy, you have to know exactly where you are. Do a deep dive of your business environment, of your competition. For example, you can analyze performance data. You can identify problems and opportunities. You can pinpoint bottlenecks. More on that in other videos that I'll be doing in the future. You can look at inefficiencies and other growth areas. You can conduct industry benchmarking. You can define your starting point clearly, which is vitally important. So going on to step 2, because again, I don't want to be going into too much depth with each one of these. If you really like all this, I'll be happy to create more videos. Just let me know in the comments below. And if you love it, remember, please like and subscribe. I know that's what YouTube likes us to get everybody to do. So the next thing is defining your why. Once you know where you are, you want to know why you want to move away from where you are. Excuse me. You want to know why, what your motivations are. So you want to clearly define your business motivation. Now, this will tie in with your business's values and your business's mission. Now, you can create the why after you have defined your objective if you want, but I tend to find I like to know what my motivations are beforehand for the change, because strategy for business, in fact, strategy for anything when it comes to life, is all about high level change management. That's all you're doing. You're managing the change from a state A to state B and so on forever. So you want to get an idea of why you want to achieve this change. So step 3 is defining your overall objective. Now, your objective is usually something measurable. but something that is big and something that will actually change your entire business for the better. So, for example, it might be something as simple as our objective is to send a person to the moon. That's an objective, okay? So that is the first thing you want to do. What is it that you actually want to achieve? What is the change you want to actually achieve with your strategy? Because without knowing where you want to go, you can't know what actions you are going to need to take to get you there. So now we know where we are right now, what our motivations are for the change, and what change we want to achieve. Now, the thing is that you've got most of the strategy right there. You've got exactly how you want to achieve what you want to achieve. But the problem is most people stop there. Oh, excuse me, I've got a cold at the moment. The next thing you want to do is essentially now look at what actions you are going to need to take in order to deliver the outcome you want, in order to move you from point A to point B. And we're talking about very high level actions here, okay? So we're approaching this from the point of view of if you're going from space to London, you're saying, okay, we need to go on a rocket down to Earth and then get a plane from where we are to London, and then we're there. Okay, now obviously there's a lot of other things that need to be done to actually get from the space station to London, but you want to have a very high level roadmap. You can call them milestones. I call them key actions. Some people will call them key performance indicators if you use OKRs. Whatever you want to call them, each one should be measurable. And that goes for anything you do. So whether that is tasks, goals, projects, you should always be able to clearly measure the result. If you cannot measure the result, there is no way for you to know if the actions you are taking are going to create the outcome that you want, because you cannot measure the outcome. So making sure that the actual measurement you pick is vitally important, because your entire system for creating the outcome that you desire will be dependent on the metric you pick. If you pick the wrong one, your system will essentially be optimizing for the wrong type of output. But we can talk about that more in a future video. So once you have a selection of key results you need to achieve, you then need to create what I call the review horizon. Now, a lot of people will just call this a deadline. I do not personally like the term deadline, because a deadline just has no action attached to it. It's a case of like, it needs to be done by then. And it's like, okay, but the key to all growth when it comes to your strategy, when it comes to your business, is constant iteration. And the key to constant iteration is to have a fixed amount of time in order to actually test your strategy. And then you assess your strategy. So for its outcome, for whether you've achieved your outcome. So the reason why I call the strategy experimental is because we're using the scientific principles that are being used more and more in business these days. So essentially, when you create when you come up with your outcome and then your set of actions, high level actions you need to take, your milestones, your key results, you're essentially creating a hypothesis. What you're saying is that if I complete this, this, and this, then I will achieve this. Now, what you want to do is benchmark how long it usually takes in businesses to achieve the outcome you want, because in all likelihood, companies have already achieved that outcome. It might be a week, it might be 3 months, it might be a year. Whatever it is, you want to remember that at the end of that time period, you want to assess what you've actually achieved against what your hypothesis stated you would achieve. Depending on what happens, basically the same thing happens all the time, is that you will assess it, you will compare against it, and you will figure out, okay, why did we achieve this? What did we do right? What could we have done better? If you didn't achieve it, you can say, why didn't we achieve it? What didn't we do right? What did we do right? What could we do better next time? And at the end of it, you come away with a list of learnings that you can then apply to the next round of your strategy. So you can then go, for example, your outcome that you desire might be to grow your YouTube channel to 10,000 subscribers in 6 months. And after 6 months, you realize that you've only got 5,000 subscribers, but you've only been releasing 1 video a week. Now, through a thorough analysis, you may find that what has been happening is that you haven't been creating the right videos. You haven't been targeting the correct keywords. So in your future strategy, you can set out a key result of making sure that you use the correct tools and find the correct keywords to target with your videos. So again, the review is all about essentially assessing your environment again. So you're going in a constant loop. That's why it's an iterative cycle. And the faster you iterate, the better, because the more you iterate, the faster you get feedback, the quicker you learn, and the quicker you can pivot. So you can slowly pivot your product to a better product market fit far quicker by having shorter cycles. So, and that's what step 7 is all about. So you analyze, you learn, you iterate. I got a little bit ahead of myself then. And you compare the outcomes against your initial hypothesis, and you rejig your strategy. You do when and how you learn from these analyses. So you then go on to step 8, which is about the repeating of this cycle. So again, just to reiterate that it is vitally important that you constantly iterate. This is a cycle. It's never ending. You are constantly trying to evolve your business at every level, and your strategy is the most important high leverage point in your business, because if you get your strategy wrong, if you get the high level outcomes you desire wrong, then every other action you try to take will also be wrong. So the key is then to constantly start again. You set a hypothesis, you take action, you analyze that action against your hypothesis, and based on that analysis, you then set a new hypothesis, you take action, you analyze, and you keep on going in a circle. And each circular iteration slowly moves you towards a better business and product market fit. So anyway, I hope you found this video useful. I know that's a huge amount of information. I wanted to get it out there because this is essentially a very high view of the system I use to consult with businesses. Forgive me if I don't look at the camera all the time as well. I have autism, so I find eye contact really difficult. I am trying to get used to it. But yeah, that is basically it. So if you enjoyed it, I would really, really appreciate, again, because I'm looking for feedback to iterate on my strategy, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a comment, whether it's to let me know that, yeah, I got value out of this, or, you know, Nick, the way you spoke, you may be a little bit too quick, or we could do it with a few more visuals next time, just so that I can learn what it is you need from my videos in order to go away, use it with your business, and literally take your business to a new level of profit, of turnover, of income. Because this is what this is all about. It's all about getting literally the biggest bang from your buck. That is what strategy is. So anyway, thank you again. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I can't wait to see what you've got to say and to see you in the next video. Bye.